Oh, hey, what's up? You know, one of my least favorite things in the whole entire world is recording, and sometimes even getting a lot of footage and recording for a while, and then realizing that the sound has not been on the whole entire time. That happened to me earlier today. I was getting good footage and good stories with a man who was being so kind as to lend his hand and help me in my hour of need. A man by the name of Dewey. Dwayne Dewey Mornington. A man from Dunseith, North Dakota. A man with a life lived long, and a life lived well. And many a story he had to share, and many a mind he had to blow. But this guy was so incredibly helpful. He came right up to me. He came up to me as I was lost my train of thought. As I was covering myself, sheltering myself from the rain, and working my hand at this problem that I had on my bike. That, did I know where to start? I mean, yes, I knew where to start, but it didn't get me anywhere. I'm no further to finding the solution to the problem than I was last night when it all started. And you know what? On that topic, the past few nights have been kind of rough. The past few days have been kind of hard. I've hit some challenges the past few days. And I guess, I don't even know where it started from, but it could have started as soon as I got into North Dakota, which was a challenge and a little bit of a mind game trying to find a place to camp or trying to figure out where I was going to camp my first night in North Dakota at Cattail Bay. Though the real trouble started the next morning when I lost my camera. And I lost my camera for about 2 hours, maybe. I don't know, it feels like 2 hours. It could have been less. And I didn't know if I was going to find it. I thought it was gone. There was a part of me that was ready to say goodbye. But I found it, and that was great. Such a win. I was so happy about that. And okay, so on that day, that was the day that I got pulled over. So the day that had kind of the day that had kind of a crappy beginning had a pretty crappy end too. But it's funny because why is it funny? Who knows? But what's funny is that I wasn't upset about it. I wasn't pissed off. I wasn't reeling from being pulled over and given a fatty ticket. Which, fatty is a total over-exaggeration. It was a slice of thin cheese compared to some other tickets that I've been given. And even more so, it was like a morsel of food in relation to what it should have been. Oh gosh, what should it have been? Well, long story short, I should be in jail right now. uh, You'll have to read my book to find out that story. And then it continued. Fast forward to the next day. Started off pretty good. Yeah, it started off pretty good. And the whole entire day went pretty well. Up until the very end. And here's what happened. That's what I'm supposed to cut to the video of what happened at the very end of the day. But if you don't watch that video, which I will make a separate video of that, or I might not even make a video and I'm just going to put it in the movie. But what happened was, such a mind-straining challenge that I had to just pick up and tackle all by myself. I didn't have anybody else around to help me. I had no choice but to just conquer it and figure it out myself. But I did. And you know what? Because of that, I paid some pretty heavy consequences today. The price was high on how it affected today. Today would have been so much different if that whole debacle didn't happen last night. But it did. You know what? It did, and today happened. So what? I mean, you're just gonna like kind of go crazy thinking about what could have happened. It's no use. There's no use thinking about what could have happened. What happened, and all that you can do is just learn a lesson from it. So here's the lesson. Test the soil of the ground before you ride on it on a motorcycle. And lesson number 2, never go into a plow field. Never. Not on a bike. You think you'll be okay, but you're not. You're not okay. You are definitely not okay. You know, and you have to take it with a grain of salt. It's just something that happens in life, and I'm thankful for it because it taught me how to handle and figure out a situation like that on my own, by myself. I was able to do it by myself. Now this morning, bit of a different story. I had a lot of help from Dewey. Dewey was, man, he was there, he was in it, the idea, the fix, the temporary and or permanent, who knows, solution that I put on my bike was his idea, and I hadn't even thought of it. So thank you, Dewey. Thank you a lot. Because man, you were just awesome to hang out with for a couple hours. Yeah, Dewey is a pretty cool guy. Only guy that I've ever met named Dewey, too. But that's just a little sidetrack, FYI. Well, and to piggyback off of what I started this conversation with, is that I just haven't liked the place that I have been camping the past 2 nights. I don't like this place. I didn't like the last place last night. This place, I mean, I could pick it apart and find all of these things that are wrong with it. It's by the highway. I'm gonna have to get up early tomorrow so that nobody finds me because I'm on somebody's property. But on the other hand, it's hidden. I have the company of the bees behind me. Can't really see it right now, but there's a whole colony and hive of bees back there. Beautiful sunset over in the west right there. Which, as of this moment, as we speak, I'm recording a time-lapse video on my GoPro, so let's check that out. Well, I mean, that's it. Like, Manitoba's been pretty cool so far. I'm in Canada, eh? I haven't been to Canada for like 15 years. I don't know when the last time I was in Canada was. I've never been to Manitoba. It's kind of cool. I mean, it actually doesn't look a lot different from North Dakota, but, you know, it's kind of cool just thinking that I'm in Canada. I made it. I made it past the border. After a couple hours of being stuck there, my bike broke down at the border crossing, right at the border crossing. And thank you, officer whatever, for telling me to turn my bike off, demanding that I turn my bike off after me saying that I can't turn my bike off because it's gonna die, but him making me do it anyway. And then because of that, it cost me 2 hours and 50 American dollars, 73 Canadian dollars to get a jump start. Should have just kept my bike running. Oh, if I had kept my bike running, like if, you know, again, whatever. What if? Can't play that game. It's stupid to play that game. But it's kind of fun to think about. What if? What if What if Officer Asshole hadn't have opened his mouth and said, "Hey, we're in Canada. Please, turn off your bike." I don't know. I'd probably just be a little bit farther. I'd have $50 more in my pocket. I don't know what else. Who can say? But you know, every bad situation comes with its positive qualities. It was you just have to look for them, you know? Like I met what was his name? Chowder? It wasn't Chowder. What was that guy's name? It was the guy that helped me out. He was a cool guy. I don't remember his name, but I have his business card, so. Yeah, he's like a roadside assistance guy. He doesn't work for any insurance company. He's privately owned and independent, and he just runs his little own roadside assistance company and goes around the county or wherever and helps people out that need jump starts or tows or new tires, things like that. I'd say that's a damn good idea, man. Good on you. And he said that he is so busy, so good for him. Good for him. And you know what? He was great. I mean, he really helped me out. I couldn't have left that border crossing without him. And that right there is the important part, because as a matter of fact, I got a jump from somebody who was crossing into the border, and I started up my bike, got all my stuff on, jumped on my bike, and as I was just putting up the kickstand, it died on me, and I'm like, oh, what? I just sat there like this, looking like this for 5 minutes. That's when I knew. I needed somebody who had the time. I needed somebody who had the patience and the will to give me a hand. Needed somebody that I could pay. And by golly, did he do all of those things, including take my money, but that's not the important part. So, the moral of the story is that there's always a good thing that comes out of a bad thing. I'm sure there's some parable about that in the Bible, or like 1,000 quotes online, but that's the way that I'm gonna say it. There's always a good thing that comes out of a bad thing, and that has been the name of the game, the name of the story the past 3 days.